Wow.
Sounds great.
Love a spring, and I love taking a coffee break. And we're starting with a conversation about moving on after loss.
Yeah, Kelly Rizzo has a message for people saying that she moved on too fast after losing her husband, Bob Saget. Take a listen.
It's not one size fits all, but the whole point is there is absolutely no room for judgment. You cannot judge whether you've been through the same thing or not. It is not your place to judge because everyone goes through it differently, and it is very personal.
Amen. Everyone does grieve differently. Rizzo said, while most people have been supportive, she wanted to put a stop to the judgment about her dating someone 2 years after her loss. Rizzo added that she had the support of Saget's friends and daughters before dating again, but emphasized it's a complex process that involves a lot of internal guilt. And, you know, I've witnessed this with family members and friends, and it's one of those things, it's such a struggle even to get yourself to maybe want to put yourself back out there because it's been such a loss. So it's, yeah, the judgment thing to me is like, just let people live.
Not helping anyone.
No.
Not at all. Nobody has room to judge. And like, you know, I'm sure she's lonely as well. Like, who are we to
that's a
fault
real
her for
thing.
wanting companionship?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Sheba.
Oh, well, public libraries. I was waiting for Paul to weigh in. Public libraries are struggling to keep up with the demand for ebooks. You may not know this, but digital books are much more expensive for libraries to get their hands on than the actual physical books. I didn't realize that. Sometimes a digital book is 3 times the price of a regular book. And in the end, of course, people don't even get to keep them. Well, now libraries are 5 states are pushing for state laws to cap the cost of audiobooks and ebooks. But the publishing industry says doing so could harm their bottom line as well. Ebook borrowing spiked 20% in just the last year, and it's expected to keep going up. I thought this was interesting. I'm one of the old ancient people who only read a paper book. If I'm not reading the book, it doesn't feel like I'm reading. No judgment to those who get their information another way. I'm glad that people are consuming information, but I'm like, I want the paper.
I like audiobooks when it's a memoir because and the author is reading it, because then it feels like they're talking to you and telling you their story, but everything else I like the paper book.
Yeah.
It's interesting there's pushback about audiobooks because obviously they cost less to make because you're not really making anything.
Right.
Create the file's created, you're done. So I would think inherently that audiobooks would be cheaper and people wouldn't argue because it didn't cost you anything extra to make anher one.
I think I thought that until we did the story, but apparently they're a lot more expensive.
Yeah, apparently I'm completely wrong. It happens a lot. It's actually my career. The rising cost of living has made saving money a bit of a challenge. Now some people are actually turning it into a challenge. The no spend challenge has been picking up on social media. It's about cutting out absolutely all of your non-essential spending for a set amount of time. So what's essential? So you can be more mindful about where your money's going. That includes coffee. I'm out already.
Coffee is essential.
I'm out already.
Yeah, especially on this shift.
I can't read this anymore. Restaurants, clothes, or any impulse buys. Financial planners say it's helpful to have a specific goal like an emergency fund so you know what you're saving for, and how long you want to ban spending for is up to you. Most people try a week. I'd last about 2 hours until I need a cup of coffee and up the challenge as they go. But
the coffee thing is a deal breaker.
Yeah, that's.
I guess you can choose what you know how I'm doing a mini version of this. I'm on an Uber Eats ban. I've been saying it out loud so that everyone reprimands me.
Since when, Sunday?
It's the month. So 12 days.
Oh, wow.
12 days. Yeah, Paul. That's right. 12 days strong. I cooked last night. Feels horrible, but I'm doing it.
Good job.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you for supporting me.
I just, during the pandemic, I felt like I gave myself this challenge. Because it would be like 5 o'clock, I'd be like, I'm gonna go shop now. Because what else is there to do?
Right.
So then I had to start putting rules in for myself.
But also there was nowhere to use the stuff you bought, like clothing and
that
stuff like
didn't stop us though.
I bought like 100 swimsuits one night.
This sounds like me. It's my entertainment. So yes, I do bans, but in like particular areas. Like you can't buy clothes for 2 weeks. You can't buy Uber Eats for a month.
That's easier.
So,
It's easier to keep track of.
digestible. We gotta make it easy.
Okay, well, any little thing helps. So money may not buy you happiness, but an open mind and discipline might. That finding is based on a college course, from British University on the science of happiness. So the team behind it says there is evidence that all students who take the class actually do improve their well-being, but only those who continue to practice the habits they learned keep that happiness in the long term. The class focuses on gratitude, exercise, meditation, and journaling, among other things. And the concept is that our minds are just like our bodies, and both physical and mental health require constant exercise. So the bottom line is that happiness can be learned, but we have to work at it.
That actually makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of a hopeful thing. Like if you're in a rut, you're feeling depressed, you know, like you can get out of it if you
be intentional.
work hard at
I
it,
think
according to this
sometimes it's being, Be intentional, and it's not all going to come on the first day.
Right.
Like when you work out, you're not going to walk out with 80 pounds of muscle. But if you keep doing it every day, it's amazing what you can gain.
Well, that's why they always say too to stay present, right, in the moment.
Yeah.
That brings you more happiness, because if you go too far backwards, you start ruminating. If you go too far forward,
You get
have
anxiety.
So it's stay
I
present.
love when
have
our
some
therapy
intention.
sessions match, Jamie.
Do you see Cynthia too?
I was going to say, do we have the same therapist? This is hilarious. Yes, I totally hear what you're saying. Stay in the present. And I do think happiness can be learned and practiced. You know, like you'll feel in a rut and then you know the things that make you happy and you're not doing them. You're not going on your runs. You're not eating the right foods. Like, I definitely have to reset sometimes and be like, okay, wait, you're purposefully messing up your life. Like, just do better.
Then you call the therapist.
Yes.
And then I call the therapist.
Yes.
And that's today's coffee break.
CBS News Los Angeles, your local news, streaming wherever, whenever.